Now, if you ever wondered where the name Part of My Presence came from, just consider this. There seems to be a push to reduce or even eliminate fathers from the family nucleus, from their households, and even to undermine the importance that fatherhood plays in today's society. This is a trend that cannot continue. See, men, fathers, are just as vital as women, mothers. It takes a man and a woman to create a family, and therefore the role of a mother and a father should hold equal value. You see, as men, we must put our foot through the doorway and say, "Pardon me. I belong here. My presence will be felt. And I should be a part of the discussion, because if I'm going to be held accountable as being part of the problem, then ultimately I must be a part of the solution." And it's from that situation that the name Pardon My Presence was created.
Evil, bitter bitches. They keep the kids away from the father. Now, the thing what people don't understand is the only fathers that really have these issues is the fathers that care. You can't piss a guy off that doesn't give a fuck about your kid. Oh, you're not going to see your kid. Good, bitch, I don't want to see the kid anyway.
Like,
it's not going to affect them.
Talk about
the only fathers that actually go through the shit is the fathers that are there, that do shit for them, that want to see their kids, that want to be in their kids' lives, and the bitches be mad because the dude not with them no more.
They're all niggas on Instagram that make it sound like they want to see their kids when they don't, because they want to make a spectacle of everything and make it sound like they care when they don't give a fuck. I personally know, because I personally have a father that's like that, who makes it sound as if my mom is keeping me away when I was a kid, but it wasn't true at all. He just wanted everybody else to he wanted that impression on everybody else. He wanted everybody else to think that. You know what I'm saying? There's two different sides.
So the question is, do you think that's
nice?
nice?
That because that's what you witnessed.
I know the
father?
truth.
No, I'm just saying, because sometimes you have to be clear, and this is what I got from Naz's message and from what I know too. Sometimes,
we need a
as a
therapist
child, you don't really see things as it is, and your parent, the one that you're mainly with, can put shit and plant shit into your mind that makes you think a certain way. I grew up not knowing my biological father. When I got older, it made sense to me why he didn't come around. Every time he come around, the new guy who I was raised thinking was my father, I call him daddy and everything like that, that my mom was with now, every time he came around, there was a shootout, there was a stabbing, it gets to a point where guys like, yo, if I gotta risk my life and my freedom to see my kid, like, you know what, I'm gonna just fall back. And then when I got older, I started seeing like, my mom was mad because my father had a baby by a bitch down the block, and she was like, fuck you, you're not seeing your kids, and guess what, I'm with this nigga now, and she's gonna call him daddy. Was that right to do?
I credit my mom a lot, because when my dad was going through his struggles with drugs, when my dad was in and out of jail, when he wasn't himself, when the disease just had a hold of him, she protected his likeness to a very young me. So when I was sad and crying, it was like, Pop just had to work late, Pop had to, until I was old enough to kind of finally understand. Today, I really appreciate that from my mom. To Remy's point, the angry women, they never really have the child's best interests at heart.
That's very true.
So if I'm to read what Nas, the nine caption Instagram Illmatic he wrote, if I am to believe that, and a lot of it is believable as a man that's going through some of that shit, who's really hurting here?
The kid.
So what I want to talk about today is a serious matter. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want to discuss co-parenting, and when it comes to the obstacles that fathers face when dealing with mothers. And right off the bat, after watching that Remy Ma video, you can pretty much see where I'm going to go with this, and that is, these conflicts, these obstacles always seem to happen with fathers who want to be involved with their children. You know, if you are a responsible man and either you've decided you want to have children, or it was unplanned but you decided to step up to the plate to be a responsible father, you've made time, or you've dedicated time that you put towards your children to make sure you could take them to piano lessons, gymnastics, basketball, football, teach them to ride their bikes, teach them to be self-sufficient, help them in the morning to build this routine with them so that they know when they get up, they change their clothes, make their bed, brush their teeth, comb their hair, get themselves ready, give them some sense of independence. All of these things that good fathers can, would, and will do. It seems to cause an issue with mothers. And I don't know if it's because they want to be the focal point in their children's lives, or if it's the stark contrast between the father's relationship with the children and the mother's relationship with the father, right? Because the whole idea is that if there was a cordial relationship and a good relationship with between the father and the mother, they would still be together, right? So there's some contrast between the relationship that the father has with the child and what the father has with the mother. And I find that if a father has a great relationship with his children, it highlights the fact that if the father is so great with my child, then why is he not great with me? Or what is it about me that he can't act this way towards me? And I wonder if it's that type of thinking that has women or mothers that do this, if that thinking has them upset. This is what I'm trying to wrap my head around. Because like the video that I just played for you, where Reverend Ma goes into that diatribe about good fathers, it seems that it's only good fathers that go through these problems. They have to fight in order to be involved in their child's life. It seems to be only good fathers that have to go to court in order for them to have access to their children. And in this society, when you hear about all these stats where 70% of black children grow up in a single parent home, and usually it's the father that's missing and the child is left for the mother to raise alone. If that is 70% of the households, if you have a father who wants to give his time to his children, why would any mother be against that? Why would any mother want to be combative when it comes to that type of scenario? And this is what I'm trying to figure out as well too. Why would that be an issue? And this is what I'm starting to believe. Now, I may be wrong, but this is what I'm starting to believe. Because when it comes to co-parenting, or when it comes to being an involved father, usually that means that father is going to have joint custody. And when you have joint custody, what that usually means is that your children stay with you for either 50% to the minimum 60%, to the minimum 40%, so anywhere from 40 to 60% of the time. Your children live with you, and then you alternate with the other parent, right? So in other words, the children are not in the sole custody of the mother, always at the mother's home. Their belongings are at the mother's home. It's 50-50, 40-60, 60-40. But on top of that, when it comes to joint custody, it also means that the decision making, how the child is raised, what religious background they're going to be raised in, what type of activities the child gets into, what type of school the child attends, where the child lives. If you have joint custody, then those lifestyle decisions are made by both parents, and both have to agree with the decisions that are being made. And there within causes the problem, because usually what that means is that, and again, this is how the mother sees it, what that means is that she still has to answer to the father. And in her mind, that feels like she's still in a relationship with the man, the father, their kid's father. And that is what they despise. I don't want to be under this man's thumb. I don't want to have to listen to this man. I don't want to have to hear this man out. I don't want this man to have any control over how I raise my child, because that's how they think, my child. I don't want them to have any say in how my child is raised, and what my child is going to do, and where my child is going to be, and what whereabouts my child might be in. It's a lack of control that they have a problem with. And the interesting thing about it is that there are actually mothers, and I know a few that do this. There are actually mothers who would trade collecting child support. They would trade collecting child support if it means that the father will forgo all responsibilities of raising their child. So in other words, the woman is going to take care of all the responsibilities. The woman's going to make all the decisions. The children are going to live with the mother. You are not going to interfere. You're not going to have any rights as a father. If you give me that control, I won't seek child support for you or from you. And a lot of men go for it. For many reasons. Some of them could be, I can't have any control, have any say about what my child does. And all the things that the mother says to the child about me, because I don't have any quality time with the child has turned on me. The child has chosen sides. They've picked sides. The child is not receptive to me. I've tried. This is being a long, drawn-out case. I don't have any money to fight it. So because of the difficulty that they face, a lot of times men give up out of frustration, out of a realization that if I can't be around to instill wisdom into my child, if I can't be around to instill some type of discipline, to instill some type of character into my child, so that not only does he look like me, but he behaves like me, he has the same sensibilities as me. If I can't do any of those things, then my child's going to grow up to be resentful of me, and is going to be a stranger to me, is not going to be anything like me. Why am I fighting this much? I will go my own way. And I don't have to pay child support? Okay, goodbye. I'll go make a new child with another woman and start over again and do it right. Like we saw with 50 Cent. And look how 50's first son reacted to that. I'm sure he hates the fact that his relationship with his father is so strained that his father wrote him off and learned from the conflict that he had with his mother, and now was doing the best with his new son, where his new son gets all the perks, his new son gets all the love, his new son gets the compassionate 50, while you get the gangster 50 back from Queens. I'm sure that son is in pain, because that son's now an adult and is not getting any child support and doesn't have any relationship with his father. And as much as that guy looks like 50 Cent, he might even act like 50 Cent. But guess what? I'm dead sure that he wishes he had a relationship with his father. Now the problem with this is twofold, because A, you shouldn't be gambling with your child's development like that. Who are you? And I'm talking to the mother first. Who are you to make that decision for your child? Your child comes from two people. They need the input of both parents, the wisdom of both parents. And you effectively have taken that away from your child. Did you ask the child what they wanted? Was your child even old enough to make that decision, or to be aware of what that decision entails? And the second part about it is, as a man, why would you forego your rights as a father, knowing that you have a child in this world that looks like you, might even talk like you, and eventually when they become teenagers, they're going to want to see you and they're going to long for you. Where did I come from? Where's my dad? How does he look? These are the things that they're going to be asking when they get older. Because as much as you want to forget about your child and go about your business, this is not something that you put in a recycling bin and it disappears. You don't have to worry about it. A child grows up to be a teenager, and a teenager grows up to be an adult. And one way or the other, you're going to have to face that child, that teenager, that adult at some point down the line. And you won't be able to make up for that time lost. And whatever that child, that adult, or that child that turns into adult, whatever they pick up along their way without your guidance, that is just who they're going to be. And there'll be nothing that you can do at a later date, at a later time. So why would you not put up a fight? Yes, it might cost you money. Yes, it might cost you time. It'll cost you a lot of sleepless nights. It'll cost you stress for sure. But that is your child. And I think that it's time that women, mothers, give space for the father to be involved in their children's lives. Because at the end of the day, Your child needs two parents. It's beneficial for them to have that. They might not want you. They might not want to be in a relationship with you as father and mother, but they want to have a relationship with their son or their daughter, and you have no right to deny them that just because they denied you. So get over yourself, stop being an obstacle, and allow men who want to be involved, who want to provide guidance, allow them to do so. Because the only thing that will come out of it is a child who knows that both parents love them. And that should be the end goal. And that is the foundation from where you start proper co-parenting. Pardon my presence. Until next time. Peace.